How do I scare thee? Let me count the ways. And there are countless ways. For horror movie fans, there are different methods to make their hearts leap with sheer terror. Some prefer slasher-type flicks, where a masked man eliminates screaming teens one by one, while some prefer psychological thrillers brimming with elements of the occult. As they say, different scare strokes for different horror-loving folks. In this episode, we're giving you a rundown of the 7 scariest Halloween movies to watch. So get ready to be scared with this Creepfest lineup. Before we get into it, make sure to click on the subscribe button and ring on the notification bell for more spine-chilling content. Number 7. Halloween, 1978. John Carpenter's Michael Myers, a psychotic stalker-slasher who embarked on a wild spree in the fictional town of Haddonfield, Illinois, debuted on the silver screen in 1978. Since then, this iconic character has inspired a slew of movies with demented masked slashers because audience just can't get enough of this kind of horror. Though the movie comes with all the horror tropes that you can think of, still, it is masterfully done. Carpenter's storytelling keeps you on your toes, fearfully awaiting what will happen next. Would he get to the teenage girl? Would the young mom escape? Would his doctor catch up with him? It's time to revisit Halloween this Halloween if you're a real horror fan. Number 6. A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. One of the best feelings in the world is crawling into your warm bed and wandering off to dreamland at the end of a long day. But what if your dreams can snuff the life out of you and you never wake up? This is the premise of Wes Craven's cult classic, A Nightmare on Elm Street. The concept of never waking up from a nightmare is not new, but not until Craven's movie did we see nightmare visualized, immortalized on screen, and even given a name. Freddy Krueger. Right from attacking his first victim by spinning her across the ceiling with their insides sprayed across the room, it was a horrifying tale to the finish, with the protagonists all trying to fight off sleep to stay alive. The ultimate boogeyman menacingly awaits them as they drift off to the evil darkness of slumber. No amount of coffee nor God can save them.
Please, God.
This is God.
Touching on a fear nestled deep within our subconscious, that is what made this movie one of the scariest of all time. Dare to sleep? Number 5. Rosemary's Baby, 1968. Adapted from Ira Levin's bestseller, Roman Polanski's Hollywood debut, Rosemary's Baby, set out a different kind of horror. The story is about a young married couple who just moved into a new neighborhood. Rosemary, the wife, becomes mysteriously pregnant after dreaming of being ravaged by a beast. After that, her neighbors, the Castavets, begin showing special interest in her condition. Small, strange occurrences surrounded her overly nosy neighbors, such as weird smells, mysterious noises, small coincidences that, if taken by themselves, don't amount to anything. But it was enough to make Rosemary suspicious, especially when her husband Guy started spending time with the Castavets, and when he eventually lands a major role on Broadway. Rosemary started thinking that her husband and her neighbors were plotting something evil against her and her unborn child. Rosemary is faced with a horrifying truth when she delivers the baby. To this day, critics fail to determine what category Polanski's masterpiece belongs to. It is a horror film, but you do not see anything horrifying. Instead, it terrorizes with cleverly placed suggestions of a sense of evil. Plus, the persistent feeling of paranoia spread throughout the film. Number 4. Carrie, 1976. Brian De Palma's chilling adaptation of Stephen King's Carrie reflects on the fragile state of youth. The story centers on Carrie White, a shy, withdrawn teenager who is abused by her fanatically religious mother at home while also being made fun of in school. The movie also explores a tale of telekinesis. Carrie discovers that she has supernatural powers, that when roused to anger, she can move things without touching them. It's established early in the film that Carrie was often taunted by schoolmates. The trauma relentlessly builds up and takes on a violent turn at the film's shocking climax, empowered by repressed rage. Though the film always comes up in classic horror lists, even De Palma never classified his film as horror. Maybe the beauty of the film lies in the fact that you cannot just categorize it into one genre, because it is uniquely its own. If you haven't seen it yet, include this De Palma masterpiece in your watch list. Number 3. The Blair Witch Project, 1999. When The Blair Witch Project was released in 1999, the found footage technique wasn't a new thing in cinema. However, the film was brilliantly marketed as if it were real. It opens with a caption that says that the documentary came from film found in the Black Forest Hills of Maryland, made by filmmakers who disappeared in October of 1994. It documents the journey of Heather, Mike, and Josh as they interview locals in search of the truth behind the local legend, the Blair Witch. When the trio headed out to the woods, things take on a horrifying turn. Without resorting to any special effects, the verite treatment of the film with shaky shots and all its roughness send chills up the spine as it blurs real from real in the viewer's eyes. Mere sightings of stick figure dolls, child handprints, or strange whispers became even more disturbing than bloody scenes or expensive CGI monsters. The rawness of the video somehow suggests to the brain that this really happened. The Blair Witch Project is effective because it knew how to press on the right triggers, sparking viewers' imaginations. And it is legendary in how its success seems to mock big-budgeted horror films. Who could have thought that a badly framed shot of Heather would become one of the most terrifying shots in cinematic history?
I'm scared to close my eyes. I'm scared to open them.
Number 2. The Shining, 1980.
Here's Johnny!
Jack Nicholson's performance as Jack Torrance, a man who succumbed to the demons of alcohol and isolation, plus Stanley Kubrick's transcendent direction as he drags us along the corridors of a psychotic rampage, makes The Shining a masterpiece. It follows the story of a writer who took a job at the Overlook Hotel as a caretaker in its off-season, leaving him only with his family for company. As Jack spirals down to insanity, Kubrick leads us through the descent like a drunk, uncontrollable driver, while we hold onto our seats waiting for the inevitable crash. No one can ever really clearly identify what it was. The hotel? Jack's mind? But something about The Shining was pure evil. Kubrick's visualization of evil made this Stephen King adaptation one of the scariest movies of all time, even if King hates it. Moving on to the scariest movie. But before that, please click on the subscribe button and ring the notification bell for more content like this. For the number 1 slot, we have a dark horse. Number 1, Hereditary, 2018. A newbie in our list of blood curdlers, and one of the best reviewed horror films for 2018 is the debut film of director Ari Aster, Hereditary. The occult chiller is an explosive tale revolving around the domestic breakdown of a family. When the abusive matriarch of the Graham family, Ellen, passes away, they soon start discovering sinister secrets engraved in their family's heritage. And even from the grave, Ellen continues to manipulate her grandchildren. Psychological disturbance at play faithfully sustains the foreboding feeling of uneasiness throughout the film. The family is revealed to be cursed with a history of mental disorders. That is mixed with disturbing revelations and inherited emotional traumas. Oftentimes, we are left to wonder if the events unraveling really happened, or were just figments of imagination crafted by the family's complex frame of mind. What is deeply disturbing about this movie is how it shatters the basic concept that the home is our sanctuary, and that family, at all costs, will protect and save us, not in this case.
Yeah, please stop.
What's
Dad,
happening?
make it
Why is
stop,
everyone
please.
scared? Why are you scaring me?
Make it stop!
Hope our creepy recos make it to your Halloween watch list. Thank you for stopping by. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share. And don't forget to subscribe. See you soon.